HBO's, it's called Q Into the Storm. HBO has what will be a 6-part doc series. 4 parts have aired so far, and it drives me crazy. Just today, I finally caught up on part 4 and finished it, and I'm like, come on. I need part 5 and 6. Like, I was watching WandaVision. At some point, we'll talk about WandaVision. Because I see what you're saying. Like, I see where it gets better by episode 4. But all I could think about was, if I was waiting week to week for this show, I would set my house on fire. I'd be so frustrated. Like, it's the most enraging show. They do 5 minutes.
Like I Love Lucy?
No. The first 3 episodes, were wastes of time. And all the other episodes so far are 5 minutes of plot with like a sitcom parody to round it out. You're like, but whatever. We'll talk about, we can't get off on that tangent. I'll talk to you about that at some point because I know you've seen it now. But Q Into the Storm is basically this guy was doing a documentary on QAnon. And he started in like 2017. So he started before the Capitol riots, before Q got like massive and mainstream. And he was just kind of diving deep. And like, I think that the only criticism that I've heard on it is that I don't want to use the word trivialization, but people think that it's focused too much on kind of the internet and the cult. Like it doesn't, they say, get to why would people believe this? What has made it so that people believe it? But I actually really like that instead of moralizing stuff, instead of trying to figure out, here's the hero, here's the villain, although they do a lot of hero-villain stuff, it's not as much a morality play as it is a docuseries about internet culture and these corners, not even corners of the internet, just this culture that exists because of the internet. And it's not even like the culture only exists on the internet anymore. Like it's not like the internet is not separated from real life anymore. The internet and real life have just melded into something, which is why everything is so weird now. Because on the internet, everything is half a troll. At least. It's a minimum of half a troll. Everything on the internet is minimum half troll. A lot of stuff is more than half troll, but minimum half troll. So when you meld the internet with real life starts to become half troll. So it's like nothing means anything anymore.
Right. If you grab anyone on Twitter, there's no way that they talk like that in real life all the time.
No, because everybody gets excited. Like that's what nobody takes into account. Almost everything on Twitter is somebody getting real excited in the moment, either in a positive way or a negative way, and just spouting off at the mouth. I see you, hot dog. You literally were on this show last week, and you admitted the only YouTuber that you even know anything about is Schultz. Andrew Schultz, and he's not even a YouTuber. He's a comedian first, then a podcaster, and his videos are also on YouTube. But you're such a mark for Andrew Schultz that he's the only thing you know on YouTube. And then I look at you on Twitter, and you're coming at Schultz just because. And I'm like,
why not?
Because you got excited.
Yeah. And what? He doesn't see it. It's fine. It's fun. And if he sees it, ooh, Andrew Schultz on my tweet.
That's the other thing. That I never take into account when people tweet nasty shit at me, that I'm sure somebody like Schultz doesn't take into account either. That a lot of people tweet going, LOL, he'll never see my tweet anyway, and if he does, that's cool. Like, so, and like, if I was Schultz and I read something like that, I'd be like, this guy's an asshole. Like, what a dick this guy is. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, it's your fault for even seeing my tweet.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah, like, what, like if he tweeted you back something angry, it would be on him. People would be like, yo, this guy doesn't even have that many followers like that. Why are you so mad?
I'm trying to get that. I'm trying to elicit that Kevin Durant reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think that we're still in that weird generational divide where I think that a lot of people don't fully understand this culture that was born on the internet. So I like that they spend so much time that ultimately this isn't as much this is as much a documentary about Q as it is about 8chan and how it came from 4chan and Reddit and the entire thing
Gamergate.
and Gamergate and that's also important because ultimately this is different from other conspiracy theories. Like there were always, oh, I believe in this, I believe in that, and there's this subsect over here, and it wasn't mainstream. So how does Q become mainstream? And you're like, well, because the internet is mainstream, and here are the steps, and so that's what they do.
It's like dark web internet history, a little thing that they do, which is a lot more fun than them shooting down and debunking ridiculous claims.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Here is why this theory isn't true. I know it's not like.
Are we gonna sit here for 30 minutes and debunk that Tom Hanks is like eating babies?
Yeah, like, okay, all right, thank you for the doc. Because you're not because if you believe that Tom Hanks is eating babies, some HBO doc is not going to convince you otherwise. Because that's the other thing. That's the beauty of a lot of conspiracy theorists, a lot of non-mainstream thinkers, I'll say. Because even the term conspiracy theorist is looked at by a lot of people as condescending and insulting. But my favorite argument in the world is, well, they say this is crazy to discredit us. Because you're like, well, then we can't have a conversation. Like, we can't. Okay, so then I can't ever talk to you about anything. Because if you're wrong, well, I'm just trying to make you look crazy so people don't listen to me. And if you're right, you're right. So either way, you're right. Like it's not, there's no wiggle room here.
And the documentary, it walks a weird line where, like, I could see some QAnon people watching this and still watching it through, like, the 4th episode, because it's not insulting their intelligence or anything.
No.
It's just kind of showing you how it came about.
I mean, I don't think Jim and Ron Watkins are still watching, going like, oh, this is a pretty good documentary. I think that they're probably like, well, this is bullshit. This isn't what we signed up for at all. But so, they go down this kind of rabbit hole, and they explain how, I mean, they start with Q, but basically how Q is this anonymous poster who started posting on, was 4chan the first place that he posted?
Yeah.
Okay, so he started posting on 4chan, but 4chan, so like on 4chan, I guess you can't set up you can't set up your own boards anonymously. You can't do whatever you want.
It's a lot more moderated than 8chan is.
Right. And on Reddit, there's a lot less moderation, but it's not anonymous. So 8chan becomes the baby of the two, where it's like there was not a lot of moderation and it was anonymous. So you could do whatever you want on it. And eventually they got Q. But it goes into how like Anonymous started and how Anonymous started as this movement that was something else entirely. And then it became more of what it became famous for. They talk about Gamergate and how that was kind of spawned off the Chans and everything that was going on and image boards on the internet.
I got caught up in that. I got caught up in Gamergate.
You got when it was first happening?
Yeah.
Which side were you on? Because I mean, for you, it's
I was in the fuck the journalist lib cucks side.
Fuck.
And I switched my turn.
So you were one of the you were one of the 8chaners.
Oh, I was really close to being some alt-right.
Alt-right.
Yeah.
And then you went completely the opposite side.
Yeah, I figured this is pretty fucking silly that where people are attacking these journalists or whatnot for a stupid video game. But that is how people saw that kind of attention, and then like Bannon grabbed those people and kind of like, got him onto his side. It's a whole thing. It was such drama. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's what people still don't understand about some of Trump's presidency and his supporters, that you're right. Like guys like Steve Bannon saw like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't about video games. Ultimately, Gamergate wasn't about video games. The people that were really angry during Gamergate, I don't think it was about video games. I think it was they were angry because they felt like their idea of society was being threatened, that their existence was being threatened. And I
They
think
weren't being catered to anymore.
right, and I think people like Steve Bannon and Roger Stone saw that, and they were like, "Oh, wait a minute. Like, this is something that could be capitalized upon." And I think that's what you see coming out of this. This gentleman right here that we see on the screen, this is Fred. Fred created 8chan. Now, Fred in this documentary, Cue Into the Storm, Fred is made out to be very sympathetic, almost like he got railroaded. Like, basically, Fred created 8chan coming off of, he was using 4chan. He was like, no, I'm trying to be anonymous here. I'm trying to do whatever I want here. Let me create my own website. He created 8chan. 8chan got away from him. It got too popular for him. So he had to go turn around and sell it. And he sold it to this guy, Jim Watkins. But Fred on here makes it seem like Jim was cool with him. Jim was the man to him. And then one day, Jim just got crazy and Jim threw him out of his apartment and Jim did this and Jim did that. But like, I think Freddie here has some secrets that he's not sharing. Like, as you watch this documentary, most of the key players, and they talk to, like, they don't get to talk to Steve Bannon. They don't get anywhere near him. Roger Stone, they don't talk to. The only time they're anywhere near him, he's like, I've never even heard of Q. I don't know what you're talking about.
No comment.
Never heard of it. I have no clue what you're talking about. But they do spend a lot of time with the people who created 8chan and who eventually owned 8chan. And everybody involved seems to be not telling the entire story. But Hot Dog, when you were watching, like, you get that I felt like Fred was being made to be out as kind of a hero and somebody that was taken a little bit advantage of. But I don't think that he's telling us everything.
I kind of hated him at first because like he just like he kind of seemed like swarmy and like, oh, like, you know, like these people here don't like me because I'm this, and it was like more of an attitude thing. But I'm on his side. I think the documentary maybe swayed me to like him by episode 4.
Sometimes I forget that you're very, very impressionable.
I know. I didn't see anything. I saw a lot of regret with him over how all this developed, and by the end of it, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a real big about face, and I mean, he really turned heel or baby face, however you want to paint it. Like he completely changed his tune. He went from, I'm going to sell this company and I'm going to work for it. After he sold 8chan to Jim Watkins, he was working for 8chan for a long time. So he went from, I'm going to work for this guy to, I want to work for the FBI to take this guy down. Like, that's a personal vendetta. That's not, people don't do that when they decide like, oh, you know what? I question the morality of this website. I don't believe that Fred is as invested in the morality of the website as he is in whatever personal beef is existing between him and Jim Watkins. That's just my impression from the movie.
A lot of weird shit going on between those three.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Now, Jim Watkins is like, I mean, what a character. My impression is Jim Watkins. He's got a different hairstyle every interview, man. You look at him over the course of 4 episodes, you'd think this documentary took place over 30 years. He's looking like this when they visit him. And I mean, this documentary maker, he was around the world in 80 days. He traveled everywhere. I think this was in the Philippines, right? When he first met them, they were living in the Philippines.
Yes.
He went to the Philippines. He went to Japan. He went back to the States. He went back to Japan. He was all over the place. But this was when we first meet Jim Watkins in the Philippines. Then, when he's hanging out with Jim Watkins in America and Jim Watkins is on trial, he's got mutton chops and a handlebar mustache. Then, in the same episode, he's hanging out with Jim Watkins in a different part of America, and he's got like a goatee. Like this, he looks like Dana Carvey in The Master of Disguises. Like maybe he's just a guy who likes reinvention. I don't know. Or maybe he doesn't really want to get recognized. I don't know. But
that guy's fucking weird.
He's weird.
and very devious. The vibe I got from him was like he thinks he's smarter than the people who are interviewing him, but he can't tell that people can see right through him.
Well,
You know?
yeah, but I also think you think he was devious because he had that handlebar mustache. Like he literally looks like a
Maybe.
person going. No, I
But
do
like he's
think
like, "Oh,
I do
Q,
think
what is
yeah,
QAnon? I've never heard of it."
he's he's playing
I'm not
games. He's playing games. Like
yeah.
in the second episode when when they're talking to when they're in the Philippines and the filmmaker is talking to him, and he goes, "No, I've never read any of Q's posts. I don't even know what he talks about." I looked at Jess and I was like, "That's him. That's Q. That's the guy right there. They found him."
Bullshit.
Episode 2. I was like, "That guy is lying. I think so. I think he's lying. There's no way." And then
I
he's
mean,
like, "I love pens. I love pens so much. Pens, pens, pens. I have pocket protectors. I like to change out." He's sitting there. He's like, look, I can change out the ink cartridge on this pen. I just love pens so much."
I
And
mean, the one of the person or group responsible for one of the biggest movements, political movements in the United States, and your site is hosting it, and I don't know anything about QAnon. What? I'm
like
not a political
you
person.
didn't even read it? Yeah, that's my favorite part too. Like he was running a news website that was like, I mean, in the clips that I saw, it felt like a right-wing news website. He said it wasn't, so I don't want to put any words in his mouth.
Right.
Seemed like a right-wing news website to me. Maybe it wasn't. But either way, it was a news website that had a point of view. And so Jimmy goes like this, "I don't know anything about anything that's going on in the world at all. I like pens. I'm not a political person."
He's
And
he's wearing a MAGA hat
he
while
is.
he's saying that
He's
stuff.
got a MAGA hat. And
Yeah.
he's like, "What's a hat? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about." And then, but so he goes, "No, I'm not a political person. I don't know anything about this stuff." And the filmmaker, he goes, "Well, I mean, you ran a news website. You hosted a show on there, right? A political website." He goes, "No, I was just news." And it was without a point of view. It was just news. It wasn't political. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. That's why I'm like, okay, something's going on here. I mean, I think it may be a connection with several different people. You know, in episode 4, they kind of bring up Steve Bannon. Like, it's also very clear when you watch who the filmmaker wants you to concentrate on and who he doesn't. Like, he's real quick to establish the suspicious activity of Steve Bannon and then announce that he's not guilty. Like, within 10 minutes. They're like, "Yeah, but Steve Bannon wasn't even there, so we're good to go with Steve Bannon. He's a red
He had
herring."
me there. Yeah, they were pinpointing like, oh, every time he tweeted something and looking at his IP address and all that, and I was like, it's around where Steve Bannon lives, and you don't know, and I was like, oh my god, Q is Steve Bannon.
Yeah, but you know what? If 8chan, and also they're like pretty sure Roger Stone's involved. Like the documentary is
Oh
pretty
no,
sure.
Roger Stone is 100%. He's always involved in these things.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think he's straight up Q? I mean, I don't think Roger Stone
I don't
knows
know
how to
about
I don't
that.
think he knows how to post on 8chan, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but he's 100% somehow involved.
But don't you think if Roger Stone were involved and 8chan were involved, then don't you think Steve Bannon would be involved too? I mean, Steve Bannon is like he knows the internet. You say what you want about him, he knows
Yeah.
the internet, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was the Gamergate guy. He was a big Minecraft person. He's a big internet guy.
Steve Bannon plays Minecraft?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Is he good?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably though, right?
Yeah, but I think it's either Bannon or Stone in communications with Jim and Ron.
Or it could be. So you think the son, Jim's son, is Ron? Ron, I kind of feel bad for. I feel like Ron, like Ron's kind of homeschooled. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's had a lot of exposure to his dad, and I kind of think
no choice in life.
yeah, and I kind of think they put on kind of plays together for people. Does that make sense? Like, doesn't it seem like everything is kind of a performance with them?
But I mean, let's not forget they're scumbags. They're definitely doing some weird shit over there. Remember when he got on that car and he had porn just playing in his dashboard?
I mean, bro, you like porn. Like, you know.
But it's just so weird. There's just something weird going on.
Yeah, it's weird, but like did you go to escort places when we were in Canada?
No.
I'm just saying when in Rome. That was my only point. I'm
Right.
not trying to throw you under the bus, but I know that you didn't. I was.
I'm like thinking back, like,
You're like, did I do that? I was.
That's-
But not only did Hot Dog not go to escort places in Canada, I've got pictures of him playing video games with no shirt on in Handsome Rob's hotel room. Like Hot Dog did the opposite of going to escorts in Canada. But yeah, no, I mean, it is bizarre. Like, yeah, there was porn playing on his dash at one time, which seems so distracting. And he was trying to get that Nuru massage or whatever it is, get the girl to soap up and then rub herself
Right.
all over you. Although,
Right.
I
What
don't
was
know,
he had like a-
but that's what I mean about filmmaking. Like there are some conversations where you go like this, man, that's weird that guy brought that up. Then there are other conversations where you go, I really appreciate you bringing that up, man. Thank you. That was a great time. Like Hot Dog, you live a life where that exact conversation could be super weird and out of nowhere and like I'm in a bad place right now, or very helpful and a lot of fun. Yes.
I mean, you sure individually, but if you add those things together, you're just going like, there is something up. Like he had the sex doll thing,
He
the
likes
dashboard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes porn. He likes sex a lot. How about their treasurer who just scrolled right by
Right.
mistake, and there's just a big close up of an open vagina on his
Yeah.
computer, and you're like, he's like, whoops, oh well, that's some porn there, and I'm like, it's literally just a still photo of a real close up open vagina. Like it's such a weird thing to just have on your desktop. Woo! I've been working real hard all day. Let me just minority report
There.
this screen to the left and boom, there. That's what I've been
Oh,
looking for.
whoopsies.
Yeah.
It's like they were testing the interviewer, well, just showing him random porn. I was like, hey, you
Yeah.
like this?
I don't know. He's down. I showed him the vagina. He seemed down. So let's keep him around for a while. He's not freaked out yet.
Cool dude.
I do like the Q-tubers and the Q people that they're talking to. I love the lady who used to be like a gossip columnist, and now
Mhm.
she's super into Q to the point that she was in her house sitting in front of a chalkboard that like normally I think people might put like maybe a shopping list on the chalkboard or a to-do list. So, oh yeah, I forgot today. I got to go to the ATM. But she just had like, she literally chalkboarded in a picture of a piece of pizza and wrote Pizzagate is real on the chalkboard in her house. And I'm like, what purpose does that serve? Like, I mean,
Just a reminder.
yeah, but do you need to wake up to see that? Is it because you want to announce it to anybody that comes over? Imagine meeting a girl on Tinder and you're like, yeah, we can go to your house, and you walk in and there's just a big thing that she drew. It's not even a photo. She took the time to draw it and write it out on a chalkboard. It just says Pizzagate is real. And you're like, what? Why'd you write that? And she's like, well, did you know? And I'm like, no, I guess I wasn't aware of that. I didn't know it was. She's well, okay, good. Now you know. It's an educational tool.
Oh, you know. Yeah, she said she lost most of her family and friends because of it, and she lost her job.
Yeah, but it's
Whole
like,
life ruined over this.
well, yeah, but that's also because how far are you going down this rabbit hole? Like
Right.
it's one thing to just be like, no, I lost everything because of my beliefs. It's another thing to be like, I lost everything because I got these beliefs that I draw pictures of on a chalkboard in my house. Like that's a different level of your beliefs. Like if you came over to
Right.
my house, well, I guess it's a bad example. I was gonna say if you came over to my house and there like were pictures of mankind all over the place, you'd be like, Sam, take it easy. But I mean, there's literally velvet painting of The Rock on that wall right there. So
There'd be no question that you're a wrestling fan.
yeah, so probably
Not
bad.
one bit.
Probably bad example.
Yeah.
Maybe they like QAnon like I like wrestling. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I love the scene where they go to Jim's pig farm and he's like, yeah, it's where I bury my enemies. No, it's where I bury my enemies. You're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't understand. I don't understand why we're all still laughing. I've been really enjoying it.
It was mentioned a couple times too many.
A lot, and he mentioned it. We're all laughing. We're funny, right? What? Whoa, this got real creepy.
Okay, as long as I'm on your side.
I love too. They did such a good job of setting up throughout the whole doc. They're showing how much Jim loves his pens. They're showing Jim Watkins, and he collects pens, and he plays with his pens, and he switches out. He loves pens. And then they go, weird thing is, when Q wants to identify himself, he shows off this pen that he always uses. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then they get to this scene. I think it's in episode, it might be in episode 4. It's either maybe episode 3. And it's right before Jim was going to testify because of 8chan's, because they kept getting coupled with the mass shootings, because the shooters kept posting their, what's it called? Their manifestos on 8chan.
Like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Or like
they just
3.
kept doing it. And then all the commenters on 8chan were like, do your thing. You got this. It's like being super supportive. And it's like, this is not, it's bad. It's so bad. It's so evil. Why would you do this? And he's sitting there, he's testifying for free speech or whatever, which is, stretching. But right before they testify, the filmmaker, he goes, hey, have you seen this pen before? And then Jim, who's obsessed with pens, he loves pens. There couldn't be that many pens that if you love, like if you show me a picture of a WWE wrestler and any wrestler ever.
You like this wrestler?
I wouldn't be able. Can you imagine? You could show me a picture of Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, infamous WWE character from the 1994 baseball strike. They dressed up the Brooklyn Brawler to be a baseball player. And while the baseball players were on strike, they had him in a baseball uniform with a baseball painted on his face, and it just said, I'm on strike. They were just, that's Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. You could show me a picture of him. They'd be like, you know who this is? I'd be like, yeah, it's Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. Obviously. Who do you think it is? They showed Jim this picture of this pen, this Mont Blanc pen. And he's like, I don't even know what that is. Like it's clearly a pen. He's like, oh, is that a pen? I was like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I have no idea. They're like, so you don't know what kind of pen this is? He's like, no, I've never seen anything like that before. It'd be like, if they were like,
gotta be trolling.
If they were like, well, there's the WWE Championship and the Tag Team Championship. Do you know what belt this is? I'd be like, no, I've never seen it. And they're like, it's the Intercontinental Championship. It's like, the Intercontinental Championship. And then I'm like, that's weird. I'm the biggest wrestling fan I've never heard of that championship. I didn't know.
You're showing this to me. You know more about the Intercontinental title than I do.
It's weird. I'm not really a wrestling person. It's like, you have a wrestling podcast. Oh, no. It's because I'm a podcaster. Oh, okay. Okay. No, it's just about podcasting. I'm not really a wrestling person at all. It's weird. You have all these opinions about wrestling. No, that's just podcasting. I'm a podcaster. Oh.
Do you think this is how they really are? I mean, obviously there's a part of them that they are bullshitting a little bit, like at the very least.
Who
right?
is?
But like Jim and his son. Like there's part of this is bullshit.
I personally, as I watch the documentary, I think they're lying about everything. like that's the feeling that I get every time they talk. I'm like, they're not telling the whole truth. Every time they talk is the impression that I get from watching that movie.
Because these guys are savvy, I would think.
Yeah.
Like if they hear there's a documentarian is coming over, do they go like, oh, let's just troll this guy, or like, let's lead him on, or I don't know. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Like.
Yeah, no, I feel like they're like, no, we're gonna act like I think Jim is acting like he's an idiot on purpose. Like I think he's specifically going like, I'm going to just act like a total moron the whole time so that people don't think it's Kaiser Soze. I was about to say Kaiser Koze. It's Kaiser Soze. This is Jim walking around with a limp. Guess what? He's going to be walking around. He's going to be jogging down those stairs later. Now, I don't know if we want to bring up Kaiser Soze all that much because we don't really talk about Kevin Spacey anymore. So, that's a little controversial. But that's what he's doing. He's Kaiser Sozeing everybody. He thinks he is anyway. But I'm like,
the son, not so much. The son's not as skilled.
I think the son is. I feel like there's cries for help behind his eyes. I feel like
Yeah.
when I look into his eyes, there's somebody who's crying for help behind
We
his
went to
eyes.
school. We went to school with that kid. We know who that kid is.
I know that kid. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I feel like most of the other people at 8chan they're like, I don't know what's real. I thought it was all real. I don't understand what's going on anymore. Like, but they really, I mean, in the first episode or two, they really made the Pizzagate people look dumb. I think on purpose. They were like they go, these are the top people of Pizzagate, and one of them is running for Congress. And then they showed him having this conversation going, well, I did hear about what's going on in the basement of the Cosmo Pizza, blah, blah, blah. And then the filmmaker comes on and he goes, by the way, there isn't even a basement in the restaurant. There is not a like we could start there. Like if they think that there is a basement where they're torturing and eating children and storing adrenochrome, we're going to start by saying there's no basement of this building at all. Like it's like the Alamo. There's no basement in the Alamo.
One of my favorite parts was when the guy was in that hotel room with like the 3 people who were running for office or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And like they fell for the easiest trick of putting the camera down and pretending it's not recording, and then they're just like, it's definitely Steve Bannon. Like Steve Bannon is definitely 100% a part of it.
Yes. 100%. It's like, that's off, right?
I got the proof. I'll show you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's amazing, though. I'm really enjoying it. That's my takeaways from, I think, episodes 1 through 4. I'm definitely going to be watching. I don't know if 5 and 6 both air on Sunday or if it's 5 this Sunday and 6 next Sunday, but we might have to come back and revisit this bad boy for episodes 5 and 6 once they're done, because I'm having a real good time with it. I'm really.
Yeah, and Jim's watching it this weekend, so you definitely got to get his thoughts on it too.
He is?
Yeah, he watched the first episode. He liked it. I don't know, in which way he liked it, but
okay.
Yeah,
all right, I'm with it. You talking about Jim Norton or Jim Watkins?
Norton.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Jim Watkins was probably like, no, I watched the first episode. It was great. The second, third, and fourth, I didn't love. I didn't think they were terrific.